I am a righteous man. Gypsy girl, the witch who sent this flame. All control.
Yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we have Peter Hollens with his cover of Hellfire. This is from the Disney film The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's a film I had not seen in about 20 years until recently because I watched it in preparation for my reaction to VoicePlay's cover of the same song. That is much more recent than Peter Hollens' cover. Peter's version is from 2018. When I was watching the film, this song, it didn't blow me away, but I've listened to it and to VoicePlay's version so many times since. I love it. I really do think now that it's an absurdly clever and well-written piece of music. The lyrics, the structure of the melody and the harmony is just a great work of art. I will repeat in this intro what I said about the song in my VoicePlay video just because I want to make sure I'm including the same information. It's a dark song. Thematically, we have both lust for and damnation wished upon the same subject, in this case a person. They are two ideas that should not go together, but they do complement each other. So this idea of opposing things is prevalent throughout the song. The song, naturally, it contains a lot of contrast. In terms of musical contrast, we've got major versus minor, archaic, such as Latin words, versus contemporary English words, big sounds, choir, versus small sounds, one man singing the melody, and of course the various sentiments. So that's the context. I'm very excited for this. This will be my first time hearing Peter singing with just himself. I've loved the music that I've heard of his so far, so I think let's just get straight into this one.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common vogue, a weak licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smouldering eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin.
Oof. Okay, we're going to do a pause here because things get a bit crazy now. More manic, much more agitated feel. Wow. Wow, how cool, how cool. I love the arrangement from what I've heard so far. I love the original song. I think we might be in for a treat. Before we get into the analysis, Peter is so expressive from the videos I've seen so far. By the way, check them out if you haven't already in my dedicated Peter Hollens playlist up here. He seems to be a fan of this front-on style.
Why her smouldering eyes just scorch my soul.
And I see why. I think music possesses so much more power and conviction when the performer is completely enveloped by and at one with their performance. It's almost like a character they're playing. And for a song like this, yeah, we really do need to believe the inner conflict and turmoil he is suffering, and we definitely do. Alright, let's go over the musical analysis of what we've heard so far. If you don't want to hear the analysis, go to the timestamp. First things first, the key, the original, Peter's version. So we're one tone up. It means that the high parts will be a bit higher, as will the low parts. This will be my first time getting to hear his lower register properly, and I know how good his high register is, so I think this key change makes perfect sense. I mean, a few seconds in, we do actually already hear a bottom D.
Beata Maria, you know I am a...
That's one note lower than your typical choral bass is expected to sing, so it's pretty low. It didn't take very long to hear his bass. That's about 6 seconds in. He does stick to the original and quite rigid, structured opening. Here's a short clip from my VoicePlay reaction where I talk about this. The meter, the time signature of the opening, it's very clear, it's very obvious. It's common time, we can count 4 beats in a bar. And we can also hear the key difference now, how Peter is a bit higher.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man.
But rhythmically he implements tempo rubato, literally meaning robbed time, which means that he has a bit more freedom with the rhythms he sings. Doesn't have to be cha-cha-cha-cha, everything strictly on beat. This line that he sings, of my virtue I am, he is on beat.
Of my virtue I am.
But then on justly proud, a bit more free, ever so slightly off beat.
Of my virtue I am justly proud.
Then he sings the next line, and then there are two things here.
The common vogue a weak licentious crowd.
First thing is he keeps the Latin in there. I'm only noticing that because VoicePlay didn't do that, and I've listened to the VoicePlay version quite a lot. Quia peccavi nimis, which means because I have sinned too much, completely contradicts the antagonist's line. I'm so much purer than the common vulgar weak licentious crowd, which is kind of funny because it's a priest congregation style call and response. Usually they work together, but here they're working against each other. And the second thing, some of the harmonic choices. There's one line that really stands out to me. In terms of sheet music, it might be two different parts whose lines join up seamlessly to sound as one, but I hear it as one line, and it's
licentious crowd.
It's a lovely chromatic inflection there to maintain this descending motion, to keep it going. Then we move forward a little bit, about 10 seconds, and there are already so many layers, but still some manage to stand out a lot more than the others, at least to me. And here we get these two kind of opposing lines.
Sun cut in her raven hair, his blade.
So just there, the two lines that I'm hearing. So we've got this one. Or however you want to look at it. And then the top line. Together. Have a listen out for them.
Sun cut in her raven hair, is blazing in me.
And if we whack in the bass part too, it's a static part really. We get that bottom D. The note I mentioned at the start, which then moves to here.
Sun cut in her raven hair, is
And then the lyrics at this moment, they're romantic, erring on the side of lustful, the sun caught in her raven hair. In the original, we get a trumpet that doubles the melody at this point.
The sun caught in her raven hair.
So having one melodic line sung by multiple different parts is a stronger sound for that melody. And the trumpet, it's a powerful instrument. Peter has opted for a much more rich harmonic approach. And the top line that stuck out to me, the chromatic inflection line, Peter is belting in his chest voice, so that's where the power comes from, instead of from the trumpet.
Sun cut in her raven hair, his blaze.
Also, why it seems even more powerful is because just before that, the highest part that we're hearing, it's higher in pitch. But he's using his head voice for it, which is slightly weaker than a full chest belt.
Moldering ice just scorch my soul.
Right, and then if we carry on a bit, then yeah, we get this bit, which is powerful.
Like fire, hellfire.
We can kind of think of it as a few sections. We have the melody, we have the ahs, and the ba-ba-bas. And the percussive beat sound as well. But yeah, I don't even want to try and guess how many layers there probably are here, because whatever I guess based on what I can hear, it will probably be like triple that. And then just after that, the roles become reversed.
Fire in my skin, this burning desire.
The ba-ba-ba section, which was stressed in the upper parts, are now stressed in the lower parts. And with this comes different harmonic roles or functions of each section. Now the higher part has a sustained static note, so it's the bringer of dissonance as the harmony changes around it, but it refuses to move. Before that, the sustained static notes that didn't move, they were primarily in the lower parts.
Is turning me to sin.
And this was the agitated, crazy part, so let's carry on.
To sin. It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who sent this flame. It's not my fault. If in God's plan, he made the devil so much stronger than man. Protect me, Maria. Don't let the siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone. Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone. Hellfire, dark fire, now Gypsy, it's your turn. Choose me or your pyre, be mine or you will burn. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me. But she will be mine, or she will burn.
Well, that was a surprise ending. Wow, that was great. That was great. There's so much to talk about. This is just another great version of a great song that I will now have to listen to many, many times. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is just go back over the second half bit by bit and just say what I'm thinking at each moment, because there was a lot to go over. Shout out to the outfits, by the way. In the original, this is what we have.
Not my fault. I'm not to blame.
So from where we carried on, I think he's done such a good job at capturing the essence here, which is, well, I don't know, a million adjectives come to mind. What would you call it at this point? Insanity? Lunacy? Fear? I think all of these apply. The lyrics are, it's not my fault, I'm not to blame.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame.
Coming from a truly evil, heinous character like they're trying to justify their actions. And the choir between each line, mea culpa, which means through my fault. So he's saying, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
Through my fault.
I'm not to.
And then we also get this line, mea maxima culpa, which is through my most grievous fault. So yeah, lunacy, conflict of interest. How has Peter captured this essence? Well, it's surprising to me how similar it is to the original in terms of tonality and harmony. The original, it's designed to be jarring, to be unsettling, to throw us off a little bit. It's a reflection, I think, of the antagonist's mental state at this point. You know, he's a bit all over the shop. Here are two short clips from the original, and in them we hear many things. I'll list them off now and then have a listen up for them. A melody saying it's not my fault, a repeated bass note, dum, 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 dum. We get the Hellfire melodic motif in the brass, which is then inverted. The choir, mea culpa, through my fault. And then the standout feature, the violins. They're what really throw off the tonal security. Any sort of harmonic security we might be feeling. They make everything feel a bit strange, a bit off.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. Gypsy girl, the witch who set this flame.
Peter has kept a lot of this in, and the violin parts, whose purpose is to disrupt the harmonic core of the music, because of that they're difficult, they're unnatural.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who sent this flame.
Cue Sir Hairless from the future to just write down what Peter is doing here. I'll just show the two main violin parts and then the repeated bass note we're hearing, which heavily contrasts them. Okay, so here we are. Here's the repeated bass part at the bottom, tenor line in the middle, alto line at the top. It is supposed to look chaotic because it is chaotic. The dark red notes are automatically applied. I can't change them, but they're to signify what is supposedly out of the range. And the bright red notes are crazy out of the range. I'm not 100% of this bit, but it's crazy. The parts are crossing over. Let's give it a listen. Now the harmony becomes a bit more clear. We hear these parts come in on the minor third.
It's not my fault if in God's plan he...
So slowly some clear harmony, some familiar harmony is coming back in. And then we get this bit. I said in my voice play reaction that this is my favourite part of the song. This moment, that is probably my favourite moment in the original song. And Peter does not disappoint. I love what he's done with it.
The devil's so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria, don't let...
In the original, notice the violins doubling the melody. The harmonies are also reduced.
The devil's so much stronger than a man.
Peter takes the opposite approach. He has rich harmonies, and instead of doubling the melody, the part or parts that really stick out to me are working in the opposite direction to the melody. The melody is moving down and the parts are moving up. Even if they're not technically moving in like a stepwise motion, that's the feeling they create. It really sticks out to me, this part.
He made the devil so much stronger than a man.
And then this moment of enlightenment.
Protect me, Maria.
Notice how obviously chordal everything is now. The rhythmic complexity has been removed. Almost as if it's more pure, heavenly, simple. Only the strong beats are stressed, which I think kind of enhances this choirs of angels type effect.
Maria, don't let the siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone.
And there are just so many parts all moving together, all complementing each other. I'm sure each time I listen I'll hear new ones, but this one stood out to me.
Don't let her fire sear my flesh and...
Maybe that's because just before it, the bass part. So then if you take that higher part and bring it down, and then you put them together.
Siren cast her spell, don't let her fire sear my flesh and...
This natural movement, but in completely different registers, it's so good. And then that leads into what I think is one of the most powerful lines in the song for many reasons.
Destroy Esmeralda.
Destroy Esmeralda.
Destroy Esmeralda. I just watched it back and look how Peter's facial expressions change throughout this one line alone. It's so expressive.
Destroy Esmeralda.
And again.
Destroy Esmeralda.
He starts off almost sad. And then the anger. And then the harmonies that come just afterwards, they're so rich. Again, as usual, so many layers going on. I'm not even going to attempt to dig into them.
Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine. And
it's just a mass of sound, of voices. They're all brought down in volume, I guess. The effect it creates, yeah, it's awesome. The bass part is the MVP for me, not in terms of technicality, but just the one that I like. Again, maybe because of its chromatic inflection.
let her taste the fires of hell.
These chromatics, I do think they just really add to the drama and the malice of the music. And then as we approach the new section, we finally get a bit of a break away from this and we get some obviously arpeggiated bits. So the boom-ba is very, very clear.
Mine and mine alone.
And then we get in the new section. Now, Peter has omitted the spoken section that is in the original.
What? She's nowhere in the cathedral. She's gone.
I think it's a good shout, considering this is Peter himself multiplied. It doesn't really disrupt the flow. And then the next section is this ominous section. Not that crazy or complex, but I assure you it probably is.
Hellfire, dark fire.
Again, just so many layers. Little things like the melody being doubled up the octave in falsetto. And we have an inverted drone as well. So drone's usually low, now it's higher. I won't go into more parts that we can hear, but to me the main thing is how this sounds both right and wrong, harmonically anyway. We have static parts and moving parts, so there's this constant flurry of harmony and dissonance, back and forth, back and forth. But the static parts are so important because they're acting as the harmonic rock, so things don't go too far astray. And then the first real kind of standout part is this alternating, which sounds very, very instrumental. And now we've gone into the final overall section. A choir to choir section on Kyrie eleison, which means Lord have mercy on me.
God have mercy.
And a strong bass part contrasting against the lighter, airy, higher parts.
God have mercy.
Again, we hear more chromaticism on God have mercy on her.
God have mercy on her.
the darkness through this chromatic inflection, it kind of undermines these lyrics. And it's also unexpected harmony compared to the original song. Then this repeats, and then we have another chromatic layer that's been added above it. So together.
Mercy on me.
And there's also a chromatic layer underneath as well, you know, they're juicing up these harmonies. I liked that as well. Peter mouthing subscribe.
God have mercy on me.
I find that quite funny, you know, it's fun after this intense music we've been hearing. And yeah, I mean, what a build up to the end. And then one final harmonic twist, we get this very interesting diminished chord. Where's that going? Ah, to those E's at the end. Wow, that was an intense one. Yeah, I love the song, I love the arrangement, the execution, and the special effects as well. It's always nice to see when a lot of work's gone into it, and it just makes it that much more convincing. I don't think I need to say anything else on that. I did kind of go through just bit by bit. So there we are, Peter Hollens with his cover of Hellfire. Let me know down in the comments other songs by Peter you'd like me to react to in the future. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community and vote on future polls, you can do so by joining the YouTube membership or Patreon linked below. And I will see you next time.